Hey folks, welcome to this blog edition where I'm going to be talking about the masculine and the feminine. Now, this is a topic that is fraught with all kinds of emotional baggage on both sides of the fence, from men and women. And so what I'm going to do today is just ask you to put that aside for a moment, and we're going to be discussing what masculine and feminine energies are and how that works in terms of attraction. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do today is draw what I call the Wheel of Polarity. So it basically works like this. So on one side you have masculine energy, and on the other side, of course, you have feminine energy. So there'll be some cases where you can imagine so a guy who's like beefed up, roided up, works at the gym 20 hours a day, right? He tries to come across as like 100% masculine, 0% feminine. Whereas you might find on the opposite end of the scale, you'll have the Barbie doll, who's this like tiny, petite, slim, and is very, very much on the feminine side. So that would be like 0% masculine and 100% feminine. And so if you can imagine you versus your potential partner, right, or somebody that you are attracted to, basically what happens is this: you're actually attracted to your polar opposite. Or in another way to look at this is that other people will be attracted to their polar opposite. So for example, if you're a guy that's, say, 80% masculine, 20% feminine, that would put you around about there. If you draw a line through the middle of this wheel, what you'll see is that you're going to attract somebody who's 20% masculine, 80% feminine, right? So it's important to note that within all of us, man and woman, we have both a different balance of these energies, masculine and feminine. And so masculine is more sort of, I guess, more goal-oriented. It's a lot more based on logic. It's about being goal-oriented. It's it's more solid, whereas the feminine is more flowy, more nurturing, more creative. Can be a lot more nurturing and softer. And so, what we're looking for is that the masculine and the feminine, two different, I wouldn't say opposing so much as complementary forces, right? They're complementary energies, and we need both of these within a relationship to feel whole. And what you might find in many relationships is that you might find that both partners have become 50-50. Right. I see this often in cases where there's been their marriage has gone a little bit stale. Maybe there's a baby on the picture, and both man and woman share all the duties. They share all the responsibilities. There are no clearly defined roles. There's just everything's all 50-50. And what happens, what I see often, is that they become 50-50 masculine, feminine. And so what actually happens here, and this is very important to note, is that attraction is basically, the strength of attraction is based on the distance between the 2 points, right? So A, B. So in the first example, 80-20-20-80, what we see is that is basically the amount of attraction that can exist there, because that's the nature of polarity, right, within the masculine and feminine divide. But what happens is when and this is one of the reasons why we see lots of sexless marriages, is that there's basically no distance between the A and B, right? And so there isn't that sort of level of attraction, all right? But conversely, what they have is a deep, deep connection, right? They're very connected because they're basically operating on a very similar wavelength. And what we're actually attracted to is not necessarily what we connect with deeply. And that's why what we find is that we also connect deeply on the same polarity. So we might have other friends who are 80-20, right? Masculine, feminine, and whether that's a man or a woman. And what we often see, of course, is that if you're a guy, you're often most likely surrounded by lots of male friends, and for women, lots of female friends. We generally tend to hang around in our own gender, or groups of predominantly our own gender, because, you know, that, of course, this whole idea of sexual attraction is not even on the table here, right? But what it is that we feel a camaraderie, we feel that connection because we're talking in the same kind of language, right? We're operating on a similar wavelength. So what we're looking for is this polarity between A and B. So what I want you just to walk away with and ask yourself this question: how masculine and how feminine do you feel? Right? At what times do you feel like you're more in your masculine? What times do you feel more in your feminine? And I challenge you to give yourself like a rating overall, the split between masculine and feminine, and that might help you understand what it is that you're looking for. Also, if you think about what you are desiring in a partner, do the check to see whether it's actually your polar reciprocal opposite or not. Because if it's not, it may be an indication that you are not acting within your own integrity and your own authenticity. Because deep inside, you will naturally be attracted to your polar opposite. So what you're attracted to versus what you are, if there is, say, for example, you find that, you know, you're operating at maybe 60-40, but what you're actually attracted to is 20-80, you see there's this gap here, right? You'll see this gap forming, and that's why you may be turning away lots of people. So think about how it is that you're leveraging your own identity better, and understand what it is that you're attracted to, and try to see if there is integrity and there's a match between the two. Because if there isn't, then there's some work to do. And in subsequent video blog entries, I will talk a little bit about what the masculine and the feminine are, and how they're different, and what men and women are generally looking for. Now, it's important, of course, to understand that what we're talking about is the heteronormative model here. Man is masculine, woman is feminine, but this also translates into a situation where a guy may be understanding that he is more of a feminine being. What he'll be more attracted to is a more masculine woman. All right, and whether you're straight or you're gay, it doesn't matter. These principles are generally quite solid. Of course, I'm not looking, in the fringes where we're talking about non-binary, but for most people, this model should serve as a powerful tool for you to understand where your predominant energy lies and what it is that you're looking for in others. Okay, so thanks for tuning in today. I hope this serves as an interesting model to view relations between men and women, and maybe it can give you some clues as to what may not be working perfectly right in your case. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye.